Welcome to the podcast. I'm Lizzie.
And I'm John.
And this is Harry Potter and the Second Time Reader. Which is me.
Which is Lizzie.
I am a second time reader.
And we should do one where the 15th reader. This is John and just me, and this is Harry Potter and the 15th time reader.
You can just say everything that you've been keeping in
I know.
this whole time.
I know, it'd be great.
How many times have you actually read it?
Read it on a physical copy, probably less than 10. Like I probably read it all the way through. Like 6 or 7 times.
And then listen to it. 40.
Nah, not 40. I mean, like a lot. It's just always been on. So like when we were doing like a road trip when I was a kid, it was always on. Or like anytime I even now that I do a road trip, I always have it on because it just passes the time so quick, and it's just like, you know, it's like you're back.
I used to do that when we were kids, and then we would do like I think it was like movies on tape or something where it like had all the sound effects.
Yeah.
I just remember there being a Narnia one, and it was like rushing water, and then it had made me have to pee, and then we had to pull over and stop because I was like, we can't listen to rushing water on a road trip.
That's actually great.
Yeah, I've never audiobooked it.
Are you not an audiobook person?
No. Just a reader.
Love me a good audiobook. A good reader, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I just haven't dabbled. I feel like I would like it, but
it depends on who, if there's a good reader or not. So anyway, we are doing chapters 9 to 12 today. So there's some fun little discussions in here, some dating, some.
Yeah, why is everyone falling in love or
it's a great
having
question.
a crush?
Why?
I had that thought, and then immediately, like, the tide turned into something very different in chapter 12, but it was just like, yeah, why is everyone falling in love?
Wait, what did the tide turn to?
Because then the girl goes flying up in the air.
She almost dies.
Yeah.
Poor Katie Bell.
Like, my notes for this went from literally, why is everyone falling in love? And then it was like, what is happening? Forgot about it. But yeah, Hermione and Ron.
Yeah.
I think they like each other, but they're like not recognizing that fact out loud. They're in like a little phase of jealousy, but I don't know. And then Harry likes Ginny.
Yeah.
But then Ginny and Dean are together.
Yeah.
And then everyone likes Harry because he's the chosen one now, and he has like a much better name for himself.
And then at the beginning of the chapter, you get a line that says, Hermione's remonstration is drowned by a loud giggle. Lavender Brown had apparently found Ron's remarks highly amusing.
Yeah.
She continued to laugh as she passed them, glancing back at Ron over her shoulder. Ron looked rather pleased with himself.
That's true. That's good. Ron needs that.
He needs some experience.
He needs a little boost, yeah. Hermione, though, doesn't really have anybody, right?
No.
She had that other guy from another school.
Yeah, she had like the LeBron James of the Quidditch world, of the Wizarding world.
James.
LeBron James of the Wizarding world.
Which is good. She should, if anyone brings up her love life, she could just be like, look who
I dated Victor Crumb. Like, get on my level right now.
But I guess she wants Ron. I don't know.
Does she? Do you think that they'd be a good couple?
They're just like an old married couple already, so I don't even know where the like crush is laying in that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They definitely are like jealous when other people give them attention, like gives the other person attention. But
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if they understand why, or they're just like fighting for attention. But they're literally like the closest to each other out of everyone in the book. So it's like you can't even get closer to Ron. Like there's no other girl that's gonna like walk into the trio and gonna be closer, because I feel like Ron would just neglect that or reject it, and I think Harry would too.
What about someone like Lavender?
I don't know. Is Lavender nice?
You gotta make those assumptions in your own. I'm not gonna tell you if the character is nice or not.
I haven't been paying attention to her story the whole time.
Yeah, she's not in the story a lot. She's like in a few small little details. She's one of the girls in their year for Gryffindor.
Was she on the Quidditch team?
No.
Oh.
She was on the Quidditch team. She's someone who really likes Professor Trelawney. She's one of the weird people who really like loves and thinks that what she's doing is great.
That's
so she's an astrology girl. She is 100% an astrology girl.
What's their zodiac signs? Do
Yeah, I know.
they? You could probably figure it out. They probably have that.
Yeah.
When's Ron's birthday?
They probably have all their birthdays down somewhere.
I don't know. I have nothing against her. I feel like Ron and her could date and that'd be fine. I don't think it would like last very long.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because Ron's probably mature.
So this is an interesting chapter as well because they're having all these crushes and then all of a sudden you're introduced into two other little weird things, which is the first is Amortentia. Do you remember what that is?
Is it the love potion? Your favorite thing?
My favorite thing.
That is
My
crazy.
least favorite thing. It says
Okay, go ahead.
This left Harry, Ron, and Hermione to share a table with Ernie. They chose the one nearest. A gold-colored cauldron was emitting one of the most seductive scents Harry had ever inhaled. Somehow it reminded him simultaneously of treacle tart, the woody smell of a broomstick candle, and something flowery he thought he might have smelled at the burrow. He found that he was breathing very slowly and deeply, and that the potion's fumes seemed to be filling him like drink. A great contentment stole over him. He grinned across at Ron, who grinned lazily back.
Wait, who was smelling that? That was Harry?
That was Harry, and then one of the next sentences is this. It's supposed to smell differently to each of us according to what attracts us. I can smell freshly mown grass and new parchment, and she turned pink, slightly pink, and did not complete the sentence. What do you think Hermione smells?
I don't know. Whatever Ron smells like.
What do you think Ron smells like? That's the more interesting question. Yeah. A little dirt.
Well, I guess Harry's smelling Ginny's perfume or Fleur's perfume.
Ooh.
Because for a second, I thought you were reading it and it was Ron. And I was like, oh, that has to be Fleur.
Mm-hmm.
But now that it's Harry, I guess it's Ginny.
Could be, maybe. Maybe it's a thing for Fleur that we don't know.
Well, doesn't everyone? It's like she's a Vila, basically.
Yeah, you can't not. You look at her and you're like, oh, wow, okay. What do you think of Amortentia, though?
I don't know. I can see how it'd be as sinister as you think it is, but I can also see how it'd be kind of innocent. And
how would it be innocent?
Because it wears off.
I will debate this with you. Does it wear off?
I think it does because...
What happens if you continually give that to someone?
Oh, don't they like die or something?
No.
They like get in a terrible state. I don't know.
What? I mean, they wouldn't get in a terrible... maybe they get in a terrible state, but if you continually give that to someone, then they're never going to get off of a love potion.
But I think, like, in my mind, if I could give it to someone and then, like, we go out and then they'll somehow have, like, a memory of that date being really great and then, like, they won't have the love potion. But, like, I'll have convinced them in real life that it was, like, I'm that great. You know?
Oh, I cannot wait till we keep reading this book.
That's what I'm hoping. Because I give it to someone once. Maybe it just clicks that, like, I'm the good thing. But I don't know. Because later, I guess... Yes, I can say all the chapters, right? Mm-hmm. So later, that weird girl gives it to Tom Riddle or like somebody.
Yeah. Wait. Okay, yeah. So we're there, right?
That's like in chapter.
That's the first memory. That's the House of Gaunt, correct?
Yeah, I don't know if that's 11, maybe.
Yeah.
But that like wore off. So I'm like, if it wears off, like maybe.
And do you remember what the question that Dumbledore and Harry talked about when? No. They talked about your exact point, where Dumbledore was like, I have a guess that that she took him off the potion because she didn't think it was that romantic and she thought he would love her.
Yeah.
But then he just got it and left.
She probably just did too much, you know?
You're different. You're not like other girls.
Yeah. Yeah, because maybe it's like if you do a little bit, they'll just be like more optimistic, you know, have a little more openness. I don't know.
I equate this to something like it's no problem to take this if there's two consenting adults, and it's like you know, you want to have a
Boost
fun
the
night.
mood.
Yeah. You want to have just a good night, boost the mood a little bit. But for one non-consenting person and the other consenting person, I think it's very akin to some kind of rape.
Because you think once it wears off, there's like no memory of what happened?
There might be some memory of what happened, but I think it's a hazy memory. But it's like, yeah, okay. So even to this point, if there was a memory of what happened, the other person might be even more disgusted with that memory. Like if someone you have no feeling for, who you think is like, you know, not a great person, all of a sudden slips you some love potion, and then they go on a date and you're like in euphoria, and then all of a sudden it wears off and you realize what the person's done, it would probably make you hate the person a little bit more than be like, oh, but really they're great, and you know, I think we had a great date together, so maybe I'll give them a shot.
But what if the person kind of likes you in the beginning? Is that less?
No, I don't think that's less at all, because I think it's, again, I really think this is removing someone's free will for love, and that's, I don't think it's love at all.
I think you're convincing me.
I think it's legitimately, I will try to convince everyone of this because I think it's one of the darkest things in this whole book. So Horace Slughorn has some really, really interesting lines, and maybe my favorite in this entire series.
I think you've said that before.
Yeah, I mean, because of some stuff that I've had to go through in my life. It says Amortentia doesn't really create love, of course. It is impossible to manufacture or imitate love. No, this will simply cause powerful infatuation or obsession. It is probably the most dangerous and powerful potion in this room. Oh yes, he said, nodding gravely at Malfoy and Nott, both of whom were smirking skeptically. When you have seen as much of life as I have, you will not underestimate the power of obsessive love. And it's crazy because you know how many other dangerous potions he has in the room? He has freaking Draft of Living Death that they're going to make. He has Felix Felicis. He has, you know, the Polyjuice potion. He's got dangerous potions in that room. Yeah. And he's thinking this is the most dangerous.
I thought of you when I read that. Because you've even, like, you said it before about how you think this is the most dangerous. Yeah. But yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think there's any innocence involved in this unless it is two married people or two people in a really healthy relationship that just want to like have a really good time. It's like the ecstasy of, you know, the normal world. You just both take a pill and you're like, you know, having a great time. But I think in any other application, it is reprehensible and a disgusting thing.
Yeah.
Glad I convinced you.
Nice.
What do you think of Liquid Luck, on the other hand?
I thought that was crazy.
Yeah?
I want some of that.
I know, right?
Because that's real. Like, you can just change your whole outcome for the day or take it on, like, some really pivotal, like, day or whatever's happening in your life. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be sick.
And there seems like there's not downsides, like if you take the right amount.
Yeah, for sure.
And he knows the dosage too, so he's like responsibly taking it. Yeah. But I thought that was really weird when he was like, I've taken it only on 2 days.
Yeah. It is surprising. I'm like, I would have, if I was a potions master, maybe taken it a little bit more often. Like maybe you like have a whole vial and like you save like one a month or something like that. You have one perfect day a month. I feel like that's not overusing it.
Do you think they would ban it for the OWLs?
Yeah.
Could they like test you?
Yep. I think it's illegal. I think Slughorn. Yeah,
it feels like a drug.
It really does. I think they would ban it. They ban it for like any international sporting events, like the Quidditch World Cup. You obviously can't take it. They probably have to monitor its use pretty strictly. But yeah, I don't know. Part of me, if I took it, part of me would want to take it just on like a random day, like with nothing planned. Mm-hmm. Be like, I just want to have a great day today. Not like, oh man, I have to like, you know, pass this test or like, you know, have this job interview, so I'm going to take it and make sure I didn't ace it. I mean, like, that'd be nice to do that. But I'm like, let me just give it a random day where I could just take it and like see what happens that day.
Just people start doing random acts of kindness.
Yeah, right? That'd be great.
I thought I would take it before a job interview.
Yeah.
Or a test or a date. Because that's better than Veritas, or not Veritas Serum, whatever the love one is.
Yeah,
because then you could just actually have like good luck.
Agreed, for sure.
And then maybe they actually like you out of their own.
That's actually a really interesting question. That's like the Amortentia, but like given to yourself.
I feel like it'd be better before a blind date, because then you really kind of are betting on luck.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm actually really curious about the effects of this. Like, that's a great point that you raised, because if you take Liquid Luck And maybe, let's say the date goes terribly. Maybe the liquid luck is saving you from a terrible person or something like that.
Ooh. Yeah,
Like,
the
could it
outcome
potentially
is
do that?
unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's an objective observer, and it's like not necessarily giving you exactly what you want. Like, it is to some extent, but it, like, you know, evaluates the other person as well. That's why, oh man, I can't wait to get into this discussion later, because there's some cool stuff that happened with this potion. We'll get into that.
Imagine you take it and then you get stood up.
Ooh,
and then
dang.
it's like, that's the lucky escape.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
That would be nuts.
And then you'd walk away and you'd like still feel great because you're like, I dodged a bullet.
Yeah,
completely.
for real.
And you don't even feel bad about
Yeah.
having a no-show.
That's fascinating. I
Yeah.
wonder if it would actually do that. The only thing is, he says something like, all your endeavors succeed. So maybe it is a bit more personalized, like whatever you kind of want, it gives that to you. So maybe it is at the detriment of yourself, but I like the idea that it's more of like an objective observer. Like, it helps you out with certain things that you need.
Maybe you get stood up, but then the waitress writes her number on the check.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
just get
I love
that
it.
instead.
You still get
We'll
a date.
find a
You still get a
way.
hot date. Yeah.
We'll make it work.
I love that.
Yeah.
Who is the Half-Blood Prince?
This is so soon. I think it's Snape.
Whoa.
From what I feel like I remember it being Snape, and
Okay.
I'm not gonna let you gaslight me. But I think it was Snape, which makes sense given that it's potions.
Okay.
However, it could be. I know Harry already was like, "Oh, my dad wasn't half-blood,"
Yeah.
but I kind of see his point in like, "Oh, maybe we'll just hold out hope." But I don't know. I need to define. Like, what is a half-blood? A pure blood is 2.
Half-Blood is a pureblood is like you only come from wizards. So there's not a lot of purebloods out there.
And there's nobody that's not a wizard in your entire family tree.
Yeah. There's squibs in your family tree.
Okay.
But it's like wizards
Yeah.
only marrying other wizards. Like, you cannot marry anyone besides a wizard.
And then a muggle is the exact, or a muggle born is the exact
Muggle-born is
opposite.
the exact opposite.
So then a half breed or
So,
half blood
yeah,
is like what?
There's actually, like, a Muggle-born, I think there's debate on some of this. I think she wrote something about this. There's always some kind of magic in the family bloodline, but sometimes it goes dormant for a little bit and maybe it like reappears. So Muggle-borns are like, maybe it's 2 squibs and they, like, you know, got together and had a few kids and generations passed and all of a sudden they had another kid and the magic was reignited in that bloodline. So it could be potentially something like that. You know more about genetics than I do, so it's like recessive genes and dominant genes.
Because last time when we were talking about this, I said everything wrong because then I went on a deep dive into Reddit and other stuff looking at this. But I'm just confused because half breed and a half blood is the same thing, right?
No.
Oh.
A half-blood is like a wizard who is just like, it could be a girl, like a witch and a muggle, or like a wizard and a muggle. It could be like it's like a muggle partnered with someone who's not. So
That's a half what?
Half-blood. Half breed is probably a term you shouldn't be using. Oh. Those are the terms. That's what Dolores Slughorn called the centaurs. Half breeds.
Like, oh.
It's like she deems people lesser than
half breed. I feel like it should be the other one because the other one's blood too.
Yeah.
Half blood. Was that even an option? Did I just make that up?
No, half blood?
Yeah. Because it'd be easier to just like remember that if it says blood, don't say it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have all these. Remember that one time I was like, we need to do housekeeping because I have like 20 questions.
Yeah.
I have a whole housekeeping
we could do
question thing. This is answering some of them.
Okay.
But okay, so don't say half breed.
I mean, it's probably less. It's probably not the correct term. It's you would be more interested to I would actually be more interested in your opinion on this. And do you think that any creatures that we possess in our world today are half breeds?
In our world.
In our world, yeah.
What? In
it's
the
a
Harry
weird
Potter
question.
world?
No, in this human world that we have. Would you deem any creature as a half breed?
No.
It's a little different in the magical world because creatures have a bit more sentience. But would you view any creature in the wizarding world as being a half breed?
Yes.
Like what?
Centaurs.
Okay, now why are you viewing them as half breeds? Are you viewing them as half breeds because Dolores Umbridge called them half breeds? Because Hagrid probably wouldn't call them half breeds.
I would just say a half breed is something that's like a human and a creature, or like a beast or being mixed. So like a giant, I would say, is a half breed because that's or like Hagrid is a half breed because he's a wizard and a giant.
Okay.
And then a centaur. I don't know where the centaurs come from. I guess if they're, I'm assuming like,
do you think the centaurs would like being
did
called
something with a horse like a long time ago, and then now we got centaurs. And if that's the case, then I would say they're half breeds. But
that's actually fascinating. I don't think that's the case. I think they're just magical creatures.
If they
that
just
have existed.
spawned out of nowhere like that, then I guess they're not a half breed.
Yeah.
They just are like super-human. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know many other creatures that are kind of humanish.
Like, yeah, that's it.
I guess like Velas, I would say, are not even. They're just like not.
Yeah.
They're just. I don't know. What's like the opposite? They're not half breeds. They're just creatures.
Yeah, that's actually fascinating.
Leprechauns, no.
Yeah, because like house elves, you wouldn't really ever call them half breeds because they're not. It's interesting why Dolores called them half breeds. Maybe there is.
Maybe if they have magical power, she's saying it's like wasted on them.
Yeah, maybe. Because she kind of sacks Hagrid for that reason, that he is like a half breed. So maybe she really just does have a vendetta, and maybe her theory. Maybe it's like a debated theory in the wizarding world. Her theory is that they come from wizards, and some wizard got with a horse.
That's crazy.
Yikes!
It's or messed up.
Horse got with a witch, which. Ouch.
Ouch. Yeah. Okay, so let me write this down. A half breed.
I would just say, like, in my opinion, I think using the term half breed is a little derogatory.
Okay.
Like, I would just use like mixed race.
So then
maybe that's not right.
Is a mixed race the same thing as a half blood?
No. Half blood only pertains to wizards and witches.
Okay. So the half blood prince has somebody that's a muggle?
Yeah.
In his family tree or as one of his parents?
It's a great question. So what is Harry Potter?
I think he's full wizard.
Why?
Because both his parents are wizards.
What were both of his grandparents?
Human. I don't know. We know that? Wizards? I don't think
we do.
I don't think he's a pure blood.
From book 2. So this is a weird one. His dad is a pure blood.
His dad's pure.
His dad is, and his mom is muggle born. So this is a weird one because she's like, so Harry is, I guess, he would be like 75% pure blood and 25% muggle born. So he's not a pure blood because.
So Sirius Black and James Potter are related. Aren't all like purebloods related? Because it's like
yeah, I guess they're probably some way they're indirectly related. Yeah, like way up the line. There's the Sacred 28, and they're all like interrelated in some way. So it's all a little gross, but a lot of inbreeding with the Sacred 28. But yeah,
so you're saying he's a half breed,
half blood.
Sorry.
Yeah, Harry is a half blood. He's not a full blood. I would say the majority of the people in the books are half bloods. So the only pure bloods that we really have are Ron. As students, Ron, Neville, Draco, Crabbe, Goyle. That might be it.
So was Lily a Muggle-born, you said?
Yes. It definitely has to do with lineage. So it's not just like your parents have to both be wizards. It's like somewhere in your lineage, if there's a Muggle thrown in there somewhere, your blood gets dirtied. And I guess you could start purifying that in some way. And like,
So then a blood traitor would
Mhm.
be a pure blood
Who doesn't believe in pure blood ideology.
if
Pure
a
blood ideology is like you should only intermarry with pure bloods.
so even if you like marry a half blood, you're a blood traitor.
Yeah, kind of.
So why is the Weasleys blood traitors?
Mainly because they're fraternizing with Muggleborns, and they think Muggleborns should be given their rights. So being a pureblood is a significant part of it is marriage, but another significant part of it is the ideology that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like you think you're better than other people, and you think like your family should only marry witches and wizards, but that doesn't happen in the Weasley family. They love like Mr. Weasley is obsessed with like Muggle trinkets and inventions, and he thinks they're so clever, and he like loves Muggles. Where a normal, not a normal, like a weird pureblood is going like, no, we need to eradicate them because they're lesser creatures than us.
So why is Sirius a blood traitor?
Because he went against his family, he ran away from his family, who are all purebloods. And he
But did he like marry anyone? Do
no,
we
he
know
never
that?
married anyone. So it's not necessarily the marrying. It's again, he's going against the ideology that purebloods are better than everyone else.
And like the whole Slytherin thing too, right? Because they were all like Slytherins and like dark.
Yeah. Sirius wasn't a Slytherin, so he doesn't go into that house. So he's in Gryffindor. So probably that's where it started.
I'm assuming like Bellatrix,
Yeah,
Narcissa, and
yeah, they're
the
all
other
Slytherins.
Malfoy, yeah. Okay. I'm just like adding this to my bank of information. This is confusing. Like there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers to this stuff.
Oh, this kind of I can tie in my second item of housekeeping is
Okay.
that I'm like, what if Slughorn just has a Mr. Weasley complex of thinking that Muggles are so fascinating when they go to his house and he's like, oh, like your mom was, or I forget who he
Yeah.
pulls up, but it's like she came from Muggles, and like people are thinking that he's kind of insulting because of that, and he's like doubting the ability of the mixed bloods.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I'm like, what if he just actually genuinely appreciates and thinks that humans are like super cool?
Yeah.
And that Muggles are cool. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Are you saying Slughorn is like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Slughorn doesn't have pure blood mania. I will say that. Slughorn is a great Slytherin. He has, I mean, it's embedded in him in some ways, but he doesn't have this ideology that's like Muggleborns are lesser than purebloods. He's like very much on the boat of if you're a wizard and you're at Hogwarts, you have the ability to learn. And he's just like, again, maybe not the perfect Slytherin. I think he's a great representation of what a Slytherin actually looks like, though. More so attracted to ambition and people who are going to be really successful than the ideology of being a pureblood.
Yeah. But I think that situation when Dumbledore and Harry visited him can be read as him being like doubting the abilities.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
what got Harry irritated in the first place.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Ooh, I don't know about this."
Yeah.
But I'm like, maybe he just, I don't know.
He still has it embedded in him, so that's why he's like, when he says like it's even more impressive considering the fact that she's Muggle-born, and then Harry has to defend.
Yeah.
He still has that idea in him, but he's like, he really truly believes that anybody can ascend the throne of greatness. It's not just purebloods that can. Purebloods might have an easier path. Like, I think Slughorn is playing into what the system currently is in the wizarding world. I'm sure if you're going into the Ministry of Magic and there's 3 people who are applying for a job. One's a pureblood, part of the Sacred 28 family. Everyone knows that person. It's like, one of the Malfoys. And then you have another half-blood, a random half-blood who's a good student. And then you have Hermione, who's like, the greatest student at Hogwarts. Draco is probably more than likely getting that job because of his connections with people, because of his pureblood. He has like, he's a known figure, and it's who you know. It's not really what you know. I think Slughorn knows that, and he's like, it's impressive that these people are such good students considering the fact that they're Muggle-born when like everything is stacked against them. So in a way, I think that Slughorn knows the system of the wizarding world really well.
Okay.
I love Slughorn. Slughorn's one of my favorites. I think he's a really wise person. I think he's got a lot of negatives about him, but I think he's still really good.
Yeah, it's definitely weird how much he wants to hang out with Harry. It's like,
yeah, it's a little creepy at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. If you have any more questions, just hammer them.
My housekeeping notes.
Yeah.
I'll just start at the top.
Yeah.
We'll make a segue.
Yes.
Okay. Basically, this was just happened because I was reflecting upon what I had previously read and just having more thoughts. And things we didn't, I don't think I said in the previous episode of like the 4 chapters. But I was like doubting how I felt about Snape because I thought Snape is good. He's on Dumbledore's side. But then he was very convincing when he was with Narcissa and Bellatrix. And then I was like, what if Snape doesn't actually know what he's going to do in the end? Like, he's just kind of like in the present moment, just like taking it as far as he can go for either side. To figure it out, yeah. Because I feel like Snape would choose self-preservation in the end. Like whether that path agrees with his morals or not, I think as long as he's like saving himself, I think he would do that. So I'm like, what if I'm confused about Snape because Snape is confused about
That's
Snape?
actually a great theory. That's a very Slytherin quality too, that it's about self-preservation a lot. I think that's a great theory, Liz.
And that's how he can like perfectly convince both sides. Because that's crazy to me that you can fool Dumbledore and Voldemort at once. So
agreed.
That was my one thought.
I love that. Love it.
Random quick question. Does the Ministry come to you when you do an invisible or an unforgivable curse?
No. They're not tracked.
It doesn't like summon you?
No.
That's
only
crazy.
Yeah.
They definitely should. Why is it unforgivable? That's the government. You should be punished. They should come and get you.
Yeah. It's a question that we have today with government surveillance. There's great parts of it, and then it just still feels a little icky.
Yeah.
It's like the Alexa devices that we have in our houses. They've like reported domestic abuse. A great use. But they're also listening to your every word.
Terrifying.
So it's like there's no privacy. So the trace gets removed from you when you're 17, when you're of age, which is a good thing. And then you're not tracked by the government anymore, which is good. The government probably still has ways that they can track you in some way. Like they'll like maybe put taboos on certain things. But I think it's good that they don't track you. I mean, I'm like very much a fan of like the government not tracking us down and not, selling our information to corporations who can then
just getting AI facial recognition as you walk past every security camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan that I actually like that they don't track the unforgivable curses. Not that I'm ever going to use them. Yeah, I don't know. It's a great point. Maybe they should track them. I don't know.
Okay. Is that it?
Yeah.
Were you mid-thought?
No. I mean, I'm always mid-thought with your podcast.
Just pondering.
Yeah.
Okay, another hard segue. So Dumbledore later is like evading questions about his ring. Because I thought, oh, he's going to give us the whole story. That's nice. He just wants to do it justice. But now he's like actually evading it. And I didn't think that his broken ring had anything to do with his blackened hand for some reason.
Okay.
But you said that in the podcast for season 1. So then I started thinking about it. But I don't know. I guess I just thought it was like broken already, like when he got it.
Yeah.
But then you were like kind of insinuating, is that the right word?
Yeah.
That it got like whatever happened to Dumbledore was like strong enough to break the ring. So I'm like, either you're playing season 1.
I play season 1 all the time.
And I'm falling for that too. But I was like, maybe this was like, because then we learn about the ring that this other guy has in chapter 12, that weird guy. His name was like Gaunt or
Marvolo Gaunt
or something.
Yep.
So I'm like, this is what I wrote in my notes. I wasn't thinking that Dumbledore's ring got broken when his hand turned black. I just thought it was like that already. But if there's a little Voldy in the ring, maybe Dumbledore sacrificed himself or his hand in the Ministry. And I'm like, what if he like purposely like Voldemort hit the ring with a curse, and like Dumbledore like sacrificed his hand to break the ring. So I'm like, what if like the ring has something to do with Voldemort, and then now like he has less power because he doesn't have like the ring and like he destroyed himself with my vague understanding of Horcruxes.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, like in Dumbledore sacrifices ring, the hand in the Ministry to let the curse hit it and then destroy it so that the Voldy soul is broken. But I don't know. And I'm like, don't. And then Draco is trying to fix something. I'm like, the only thing I know that's broken is this ring. And I'm like, maybe he wants to fix it and then Voldemort can have it back. Because that's like, is that the Slytherin ring? And then I don't know. Now I'm confused.
It's a great question. What's the significance of this ring? Fantastic question.
It's the Slytherin's heir ring, right?
Yeah.
It's like the Slytherin house, or
it's a representation of
Salazar.
Salazar Slytherin. It's actually not necessarily there's another object that's more of a representation of Salazar Slytherin.
The snake.
The snake. This is more of an emblem of the House of Gaunt. The ring is more of like it's part of the Gaunts.
So the
legacy.
House of Gaunt is just like a Slytherin family?
Yeah, it's a descendant of Salazar Slytherin. They're still descendants, but the ring is like more of like the Gaunt ring.
Gaunt's the man, that guy, the dad?
Yeah. Marvolo Gaunt.
Marvolo.
And then there's Morphin.
Yeah. And Merope,
And
whatever her name is.
Merope.
I don't know.
However you say it,
Those are some weird people.
Yeah, they are strange. What do you think of their whole story?
I don't like it. They're definitely messed up genetically.
Yeah.
A little creepy. But they also have she has a locket that he like drags her by the neck by.
Yeah.
And then Hermione's talking about a necklace in Borgin and Burke's or whatever. So I'm like, I don't know if a locket
connected?
is the same thing as a necklace, if she would delineate that. But yeah, every information dump that we get now, I just get into this mode of panic and I'm like, I should like make sure I understand every single thing that's happening. And I was like recognizing the town name and I'm like, something happened in this town before, like will happen. I don't remember what it was. And then I was just like, no, I need to pay attention so much more.
No, you're good. I'll fill you in with details that you missed. So this town is called Little Hangleton.
Yeah.
There was one thing that we read about this town before.
Is that where the it's either the house that Fred was in, or it's like where the cemetery was, I think. Or
the house that Fred was in. Fred?
Isn't Fred the guy that got
Weasley?
No, that died in the house at the beginning of
Oh no, that's
what's his name?
I always forget his name.
I thought it was an
Tom?
F name.
No.
But something happened there in Little Hangleton.
I can't believe I always forget this guy's name. I feel so bad for him.
He died.
Sorry, buddy.
Right? Did the basilisk ate him?
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm like very aware of everything that they're giving me because I'm like, we got a locket, we got a necklace, we got this chalice thing from Mundungus, we got a ring, we have a sword of Gryffindor, we had the journal thing. So I'm trying to pay attention. I'm trying to be aware.
Sorry, I just want to find this guy.
Just look up the first chapter.
I know. Is it Frank? It's Frank. It's Frank.
Frank. Okay.
Fred,
I was close.
Frank is close. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, that's where this happened, where Frank died in the house. That's in Little Hangleton.
Okay.
And you remember who? It is the same thing with the graveyard. That's where the graveyard is. It's in Little Hangleton.
So I was right.
So you're right about both of them.
Let's go.
Do you remember who was buried there?
Tom Riddle, or the dad.
The dad and the grandparents. Remember, they died in some mysterious way that none of the Muggle police knew why they died, and they were died by Avada Kedavra because they just seemed like they had shocked expressions on their face. They were died by Avada Kedavra.
Nice. So wait, is that the Tom Riddle that's riding past this girl on his horse?
That's the son, yeah.
So
that is Voldemort's father.
The guy on the horse is Voldemort's father.
Yeah.
who is
Dumbledore
now
says that to
in
Harry.
the grave.
He's in the grave. He's dead. He gone. So this is a memory.
This is so confusing.
So everything that happens in these, all the things that Dumbledore is doing are memories, so they can be before. All these are happening way prior to that. So essentially what this lesson is, it's an origin story of Voldemort. So he's showing Harry Voldemort's parents. His parents and his grandparents and what they were like, and his uncle.
I think that's what I expected the lessons to be more.
Really?
Rather than like
information rather than
a lecture, not a lab.
Yeah.
Cause like I feel like he's prepared. Like Harry knows a lot of spells and stuff, but he doesn't know the story, and I think that's his biggest weakness, like approaching Voldemort.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we know the origin story of the grandpa.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty strange.
I still don't understand Voldemort's timeline. I need like a visual aid.
What don't you understand about it?
Like he's a spirit thing that like needs somewhere to reside.
Ooh, okay, yeah. So those questions are going to be more interesting. He was a person before all this.
So he was Tom Riddle though, right?
Yes. Here's a weird, interesting question, because we kind of get insinuations from this chapter. So Merope is using love potion, correct?
Yeah.
On her husband.
Yeah.
On her, not really husband, on Tom Riddle.
Yeah. The grandpa.
What happens when there is a child born of a love potion?
I don't know. Does it die?
No, it's more of a theoretical question rather than a answer to yes or no
like
question.
A squib.
No, I mean, is a squib another interesting question that you get in this chapter, because Merope seems to be a squib.
Yeah.
Is a squib a result of abuse as a child?
That was on my notes. I was like, I wonder if Petunia.
Yeah.
If that happened to Petunia.
So she's different because her parents were Muggles.
Yeah, but she could be a Muggle-born squib, and then like, because she's sisters with Lily.
A Muggle-born squib is what me and you are.
No, just haven't tapped into it yet, okay? No, because Lily is her sister, no?
Yeah,
and
Lily's her sister,
magical.
but Lily is a rare, lily, blossoming lily.
So maybe she's not a squib, and she's just a traumatized wizard.
Maybe it could potentially be.
Whatever. Okay.
But it's a fascinating question, because a lot of people say that Voldemort is the way. Now this is like the nature nurture debate. Why is Voldemort the way that he is? Is it because of how he was born? Was he the product of a love potion gone wrong?
What?
That screwed him up? Or
Dumbledore? You mean Voldemort?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I say Dumbledore? Sorry.
I don't know. You might have.
No, definitely Voldemort. So the debate is it the nature, where he's the product of a love potion, or is it like how he was raised? And we'll see.
I would think there's a lot more kids born of love potions, though.
Really?
Yeah.
I tend to really think like there's certain people using they're not necessarily using Emertentia. They're using some other kinds of forms of love potion. Emertentia doesn't seem to have we have not encountered a story like we have here, where someone is continually giving someone Emertentia to make them fall in love with another person. I don't think we get that much. I think it's really looked down upon in the wizarding world as well, because it's rape.
But you keep saying if two consenting adults.
Yeah, but that's not the product of like a illegitimate love potion. That's like two people are drunk and hammered, and they already love each other.
You can't say that sometimes it's fine and sometimes it's not.
No, yes I can.
You can't.
Because you know why? Magic.
No.
No, so this is what I'm saying though. So okay, so this whole series is about how love is a powerful form of magic. If two consenting adults who are married, say Mr. and Mrs. Weasley, decide to take Emertentia one day, their love, it's just creates more obsession and romance with them. They already love each other. So it's not creating the love, it's creating the spark maybe all over again. And so they go have a great time together and they bear another child. Nothing's wrong with that, because it's not the product of an illegitimate use of love potion, Emertentia. It's the product of their love, and they just wanted to fan that at the flame and have a kid. It's like, I don't know, like, what are those? Not contraceptives. It's like, something to aid your pregnancy. Maybe you're like,
It's like an aphrodisiac.
yeah, for sure. Maybe it is like an aphrodisiac because there's part of it that is an aphrodisiac in this. People are the scent is whatever like is most attractive to them. It like drives them crazy, with like in a good way. But if one person gives another person emertentia and it is not consensual and it is not based on like they don't love each other prior to that, then that could go really awry. I think that's my opinion.
Okay. No, that makes sense.
Yes.
Because it's like, it's not a child of love. It's a child of deception.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially.
And that might be embedded into the kid's like actual blood and skin.
So you think Voldemort is the only child ever born out of...
No, not the only child ever born.
So what are you saying happens to these kids that are...
I think it's very rare. If it does, I think some of them are like psychopathic. Like Voldemort is a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like,
was Tom Riddle a psychopath?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because he's a human, and then he's like dies.
Yeah, we'll get more of his backstory. Don't worry. Yeah.
And then he's...
We'll have this whole debate
No,
soon.
I need to understand this now. Because then, like, Tom Riddle is in the basement thing with Ginny, right? Yeah. That's like Tom Riddle.
It's a weird one, yeah.
That's really still, I have not coped with that.
There's a huge debate about that one in the community for what would have happened to Voldemort's original soul had that existed.
But it's like part of Voldemort's soul.
It is
in Tom Riddle.
The book is different. The book led me the diary led me to a lot of confusion about what a Horcrux actually is, until I actually started doing this podcast and then ironed some of the details out because some people helped me understand it a little bit better. But this book is such a weird part because we'll talk about this another time. I can't talk about this right now.
Okay, when he's like that weird baby thing that they put in the cauldron.
Yeah.
That's like
his actual form. That's like original OG Voldemort.
But like Tom Riddle did something to become Voldemort. Cause like Tom Riddle isn't like a snake looking thing.
You're gonna see.
I'm like, I'm so confused.
Yeah.
I don't like this book.
I think details will get ironed out, I promise you, but I just will not be able to answer them right now.
I just need a timeline with a picture of what he looks like.
You'll see. Yeah, we'll get a timeline. This book will, I will say this book will provide you with a timeline. And we'll talk in detail about the timeline.
So for now, we're like really early in the timeline because we're talking about his grandpa.
We're talking about his grandpa, his grandparents. Yeah, we're talking, this is like the origin story of Voldemort.
But he needed his like dad's bones or something.
Okay, so yeah, that whole thing, it was not, that was like a dark way to bring someone back from the dead. You can technically do that. And I know you actually, so you can't bring someone back from the dead. You can resurrect someone whose soul is on the verge of destruction. So Voldemort's soul is still like floating out there. He doesn't really have a body. You can reunite the soul and body. What they're doing in there is essentially reuniting the soul and the body in that little thingy. There's some pretty. I think I've mentioned this before to you. How baby Voldemort exists in book 4. So in book 4 we get baby Voldemort.
They like impregnate some lady.
Impregnate
right?
Bertha Jorkins, yeah. Which is pretty gross.
Not cool.
And she gives birth to little baby Voldemort. Gross.
Yeah. That's awful.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
So Voldemort's body is dead. That's why he needed to inhabit his father's body?
Yeah.
Okay.
Inhabit his father's body? What do you mean?
I don't know. I thought that's what you were just saying. Like,
oh no, it wasn't like he was taking over his father's body. I guess I don't that potion. I gotta look into that. What that potion actually does. It seems to maybe quicken the lifespan. So he's like a little baby, but it's like maybe it just makes you age to the age that you need to be. It might be something like that. Because he was like a little baby. They dumped him into this little like potion, and then all of a sudden they take the bone of the father, the flesh of the servant, and the blood of the enemy, and then all of a sudden he's reborn into actual form. Even though he kind of was form. What?
The blood of the enemy.
Yeah, blood of the enemy.
So that's why he needed Harry.
He needed Harry's blood, yeah.
But
he really needed any enemy's blood, but he just decided to pick Harry's blood.
And then he didn't look like a snake thing before he was in that, right? He looks like Voldemort after the cauldron
It's a good
thing?
question. Yeah, probably after.
Okay.
It's a good question though. When he gets his snake-like appearance, is it not like a integral part of the story, but it's interesting. So we'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
You're asking all the good
I
questions
think
today,
that was
though.
all of them. Now I'm confused. I feel
This
like
book is
I learned a lot, but
Yeah.
I have.
You're gonna
Yeah.
be confused in this book, I will say, but we will iron out all these details as we go through these stories.
Okay, I trust.
So give me a quick summary of chapter 11, which is Hermione's helping
What?
hand. I know we haven't done summaries
No,
of any
we're
of
going
these.
back to 10. All we did officially was 9.
No, we were just doing 10. 10 is House of Gaunt.
No.
What
we
other
need to
questions
go
do you have of
back.
10? Let's talk about 10. Any other questions?
You can persuade someone to give you their memories.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's crazy. That
It's a little creepy.
you could like sell your memories on the dark web and like people could use them. Like I wonder how much a memory is worth.
I would love a pensive.
Yeah.
Like be able to
me
like
too.
just have like a little closet that you just put all your memories in for the day. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't have to think about that anymore. It's there.
I also feel like Snape could be taking everything out of the pensive and then like what if Dumbledore or putting everything into the pensive and then what if Dumbledore and Voldemort are both giving him like Veritas serum to make sure that he's telling the truth, but he actually is telling the truth because he has nothing to hide because all his memories are like washed away. I feel like there could be something like that, like some security measure in place.
Ah, okay.
I don't know.
Like encryption.
Yeah.
Because there was something that Snape did when he was trying to teach Harry occlumency, where he took his memories and put them in the pensive before he actually
Yeah.
taught Harry certain lessons. So you're like, why was he doing that? What were those memories?
And because Voldemort's like the best
Yeah.
Occlumens
Yeah.
ever. So like
He'd
he
be
could just see
legilimens.
like, oh, Snape's lying to me.
Yeah, for sure.
But he could also just see that, I don't know. Or maybe Snape has to modify his memories because if you look in someone's mind, there's nothing in there. I would be like, oh,
Yeah.
hello.
Oh,
Where were you, Snape?
Yeah.
Like,
Why is there a blank right here?
yeah,
Looks like some files were deleted. Let's talk
Yeah.
about those.
exactly.
The idea of removing a memory as well seems strange to me. Like you can coax it out of someone. Does it duplicate the memory? Like, because when Snape is taking these memories out of his head in that one chapter, can he not remember those anymore? Or is this just like a form of encryption where you put it there and no one can access them until you get them back in?
I think of it as more clarity.
Okay.
So it's like you get your memory in 4K.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
Because if there's so many thoughts swirling around your mind and you need a little mental silence to focus on one,
Yeah.
you can like pull out the rest of them and then focus on the one.
Yeah.
Or like in your head, or you could focus on the one that you pull out
Mm.
and like literally dive back into it and just be fully present.
Okay, I saw this today actually. It was Conan O'Brien was talking about the first time he met his wife Liza, and he says that is documented. He's like, it's on YouTube. There's people. There were camera crews around. She was part of this, this bit that they were doing on his show, and it's the first time he met his wife, and he was smitten with her. He says, "I will never watch that. I can never watch that." He's like, because he's like, I don't want to see that again. I want it. I want to remember it how I remember it. Because like, I remember every detail of that. But he's like, I want to remember it.
That's so cute.
I know, it's adorable. I freaking love it so much. But do you think if you could, so like bringing this back even to like what we were talking about in previous chapters of like love and dates, would you want to revisit a first date or something like that? Or would you?
I would like to destroy
Yeah.
some memories.
Yeah,
I
clearly.
would
Yeah.
can we do that
Yeah.
instead?
Yeah. Because
don't know.
there's even something with Jen and Danny that they their proposal was just like they were just like in their room and they were like getting ready for like, a family dinner, and they didn't have any video. They don't really have any pictures of it. It was just Danny like going down on one knee and being like, "Hey, wanna get married?" Really quick. And I love that.
That's crazy.
Because I'm like, so many people need it like documented in 4K so they can keep rewatching it over and over and over again. And I like someone who's like, that exists in my mind and I remember every detail of it. I don't want to see what these people portray it as.
I would want a video. I don't need like a whole shenanigans where they hire like a videographer.
Yeah.
But
I kind of like the idea too of just like exists in your own mind.
yeah.
It's romantic.
No, I would rather just like take things out and leave them outside of my mind.
I like the idea of revisiting things. Like you don't have to think about something right now. It helps overthinkers sometimes. You like or just processing through something. You can just be like, okay, I'm gonna pop this in the pensive and come back to this later, and think about it then.
But like, you don't have a memory that like eats you up that you like think about every single night, and you're like, why can't I stop thinking about this? Yeah. Clearly. So get rid of that. I don't know. I don't think about like reliving amazing things all the time. And if because I wouldn't want to relive it the exact way that it was. I would want to like go back to the actual moment and then like.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be amnesiac. I wouldn't want to delete certain memories. I would want to be able to change how I acted in certain situations, because that's what eats me up about some of those situations, that I didn't change, that I didn't do something different or say something more or whatever it was, rather than.
But you can't do that because you're just you're stuck in the memory.
Yeah.
So maybe we wouldn't like pensives.
Yeah, I think both of us would hate it.
We think we would, and then we hate it. We just stand there with our heads in it the whole time, like actually getting destroyed by it.
Yep, pretty much.
How do you come out of it by yourself too? Like you just jump? Like
yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe it's like there seems to be kind of like a definitive end to these memories. So like when you come to the end of the memory, it's like maybe there's just a natural exit point, a little like cloud exit here. And you go out and you're like, oh, okay.
Like Yoshi when he rides the clouds. That would be fun.
Yeah, that's my best guess for that.
What else about the House of Gaunt? I guess we did talk about it. We talked about
a lot of the details for that one.
Chapter 11, Stan Lee gets arrested.
Stan Lee?
Or Stanley? Stan? I don't know.
Stan Shunpike?
Stan. Is his name not Stanley?
Stanley's in The Office. Stan Shunpike. The bus driver?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stan Shunpike. Okay, maybe it's Stanley Shunpike. I don't know.
That's what I just autocorrected. Anyway, do you think he was actually bad though?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm gonna rewind that and give it to you. Do you think he's bad? Or reverse that and give it to you?
It could go either way for me. Because I feel like you can talk about like the news and just like say conspiracy theories and you not be a Death Eater. Because I think like that's option one.
Yeah.
If he's just like talking about what's happening. And I feel like people have weird connections where they know people at the ministry. Like it's a small community.
Yeah.
So maybe he does have some insider information, but then he's not bad. Or maybe there's somebody at the ministry who's a dark wizard who wants to get rid of him on like a personal vendetta. And then like they just chose to get, because he died or went to jail? He got arrested.
Yeah.
Or they wanted to stop the night bus. I'm like, what if no one can get rescued without the night bus?
Ooh.
And like they want to just like break the barrier or like create a bigger barrier between the Muggle world and the wizard world, because the night bus was like always right there when you needed it. I'm like, maybe there's no one else who can drive the night bus. But or he's just a Death Eater. Like, I don't know. Those are my ideas.
We'll revisit that. He's an interesting character.
I liked him.
Harry seems to very much think he's innocent.
Yeah.
But you're like, why? The first interaction that they had wasn't, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
So why is Harry to his defense so much? I don't know.
I guess he's just like a young wizard.
Yeah.
Like they're both young wizards.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good point.
I don't
know. After this happens, a lot of people say that they're taking their kids out of Hogwarts. If you had kids in Hogwarts at this time, would you take them out?
No.
Just let them.
I think they're safe there. Because there's a lot of, like, as far as I know, there's no Death Eaters necessarily at Hogwarts.
Okay.
So anywhere else there could be Death Eaters. So I feel like it'd be better to just put them in where there's Aurors and Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And like a nurse. Like everything is there.
Yeah, most of what they need is there, to be honest.
And they're learning too. Like if I took them out, I feel like they unless something happened, like there's a war, like how would I prepare my child? Like
Yeah.
would I have to just start teaching them spells?
You would definitely have to be like adept at what you do. You'd have to know, you know, some high levels of magic.
Because like if Hermione went home, she's just living in the Muggle world,
Yeah,
and she's just
exactly.
gonna be a victim.
But honestly, Hermione is still learning. She's still gonna be poring over books
Yeah.
and, you know,
Well,
figuring
maybe
stuff out
a
herself.
Muggle born who's not
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Hermione.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would leave him there. Would you?
Yeah, probably. I think there's a point to it where I would probably take him out because it's like
I would
Maybe.
visit them.
yeah,
I'd give them a hug.
Maybe I'm
Let
just so
them
much of a
know.
pessimist. I just keep equating this to 9/11. When 9/11 happened, I remember I was in school in 5th grade, and people, like everyone at like 10 o'clock, people just started taking their kids out of school, and I didn't know what was happening. Our teacher didn't let us know what was happening. And I remember seeing like the smoke rising from the city, and that was pretty terrifying. But I remember after I was like, why did everyone? Because I was, I think, one of the last 3 kids to leave school. I remember it was like me and my siblings. We were just chilling there, and our parents just kind of like picked us up, and we're like, okay, let's go. But I remember sitting there thinking like, it's not necessarily safer, but you like want your kids by you. So there's a point where it feels like for wizards, it's like almost the end of the world. Like Voldemort is coming back to power, and it's pretty terrifying. So if we have another year of life, I want to be with my family. I don't care if they learn other magic. You know, it's like we're gonna go out. We're gonna go out together.
Yeah.
Which there's some
like the family unit.
Yeah,
being
for sure.
All together,
yeah, like you're stronger together than you are apart, which is like part of Hogwarts. Hogwarts is a family, so you're strong there together. They're safe there, but there's a point where sometimes like being together supersedes safety.
Go out with a bang.
Yeah,
all
for
together.
Sure. Yeah.
That's true. I like that.
And I don't know when that point is. I don't think it's at that point yet, but I think it's getting to that point where I would be looking at Hogwarts being like, there's some terrible stuff there happening. I don't think I could protect my kid better than Dumbledore can, but I still want to be with my, kids. I still want them by me.
Yeah.
Maybe that's selfish. I don't know.
I mean, they're your kids.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you're in charge of them.
Yeah,
you're
but
their
where
protector.
are they going to be safest, and where are they going to?
So, like, if you're protecting your kids, is it your job to protect them, or put them with the person who can protect them best?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's like how tight or loose reins.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I would maybe. Also, it's like comforting the fact that you can take them out whenever, and they're there like instantly.
Yeah.
And like you don't even have to go through danger to get them. It's just like boom.
And there's another point where there's parental instincts. So like Dumbledore would sacrifice his life to protect all the students probably. But there's like something different about a mom and a dad that are willing to protect their kids to death, to the point of death. Like Harry's parents, like protecting him to the point where they both die, but they give Harry this like love. I think Dumbledore sacrificing his life for his students is going to cast a love charm over them. I think it has to be something deeper than that.
Yeah. And it depends how much danger you're in too.
Yeah.
Because like if you work at the ministry, maybe for your kids' sake, you want them to have another year with you because you're like super at the front lines, like
for
in
sure.
danger. Because that one girl's mom just died.
Yeah.
And then she got pulled out of Hogwarts. And it's like, oh shoot, like you haven't seen her in months. And then it's just gone.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Do you remember who's got pulled out? What her name was?
No, I forget.
Bones.
Amelia Bones.
Amelia Bones was, I believe, her
mom.
Susan Bones.
Wouldn't she have gotten pulled out like later? Or I mean earlier? Because I thought Amelia Bones died a little while ago.
I think you're right, actually. Anything else in this chapter?
What chapter was this? 11?
11.
I don't think so.
There's other small stuff. Where do you think Dumbledore is going all these times? What do you think he's doing? Why is he off campus all the time?
Probably stuff with the Order.
Okay. Good generic answer.
Thanks.
Malfoy. Did Malfoy sneak anything into the school?
I feel like he could cut a deal with Filch.
Yeah, right.
Because Filch is definitely at least a dark wizard.
Yeah.
So he'd be like, look how cool this thing is.
Yeah.
I'll let you have it sometime. And then, boom, now it's in Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Whatever that object may be. I do not know.
Yep.
Yeah, Filch is weird.
Filch is one of the weirdest people in this entire series. All right, let's do chapter 12. Silver and Opals. Give me a quick summary of this.
So the silver would be the chalice thing, right?
Yeah.
And the opal would be the necklace.
Okay.
Because is this the chapter where she actually goes flying up in the air?
Yep.
Yeah. So they go to Hogsmeade. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
The trio goes to Hogsmeade. They hang out. It's freezing cold. On their way back, Katie Bell and someone else are walking in front of them, and then the one girl goes flying up in the air, and she's like looks terrifying.
It's a pretty scary scene.
And basically, she's cursed because this package that they were fighting over opened, and she touched whatever's in it, and then that turns out to be a necklace, and then Harry runs against Hagrid. Hagrid takes this girl and runs up the castle. Then McGonagall takes everyone into her office, has a little question time. And Harry's convinced that Malfoy like planted this necklace, and that the girl was Imperious. And then like Hermione and Ron aren't with him 100% on that.
Yeah.
But like it kind of makes sense because the only other necklace situation was Malfoy in the same shop.
Yeah, it makes sense, but you're kind of skeptical along with them, but you're like, you know, it kind of makes sense for what Harry's saying.
A kid getting Imperious is terrifying too.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh.
That is really, really scary.
So who's in? You don't. It's not like Polyjuice, right? Where you need like. How does that work when you Imperious someone?
An Imperious curse, you seem to need to be in the proximity of the person. It depends on the strength of the wizard or witch. You can Imperious someone who's like kind of weak pretty easily.
Through their brain, like occlumency or something.
There's some slight. No, it's not like occlumency. You need a. There's some like debate for how this actually works and how it functions. Even in the movies, it's done in slightly different ways. There's not like a clear game plan for how how the curse works, how the Imperio curse works. In the movie, there's a really funny part where I actually kind of think this is kind of cool, where it's like a fart, where like Harry says Imperio, and it's like this like laughing gas comes out of his wand, and like the person smells it and is all of a sudden taken, and it just like does everything and is like in line with what they want to do.
But it's like, is it like a puppeteer and a puppet where like?
No, not necessarily
I move my hand up, you move your hand up.
So that's I think it's more of like mind. It's not like the person's in the background, like has like a little puppet and is like using the sticks to step and stuff like that. It's not really like that. It's more like the person kind of does what they need to do, but it's mind control. So it's like, oh, go to your office and work, and the person just goes to their office and like does mindless work.
So who's Imperiousing her?
Yeah, that's a great question.
That you probably know the answer to.
I do.
You want to share?
Nope. I want you to guess.
So, if they have to be like relatively nearby, or a very powerful wizard.
Yeah.
Who we have? We could have Snape.
Okay.
Malfoy.
Okay.
The guy, I think his name is Borgin.
Okay.
Maybe he's nearby.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be Crabbe or Goyle.
Yeah, they probably don't seem at that level yet.
And well, Mundungus was in the town.
Yeah, could it be Mundungus?
Mundungus is kind of sketch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I want to like him, but he's also really messed up for taking Harry's stuff.
Yeah.
And that other guy that Mundungus was selling stuff to is probably not a great wizard. Like a darker wizard.
If you're selling dark stuff like that, it's definitely not to like a morally good witch or wizard.
I don't know. Other than this, like Malfoy would be the only student that I would assume would do it. But it could be like Slughorn, Snape,
Okay.
or yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's a good short
No.
list. We'll see. I am not gonna even broach that because I mean I always obviously know the answer. So
Yeah.
yeah, good guesses. When she is Imperious and she touches this little magic necklace, what kind of dark magic is that? Do you think that we've seen that before, where someone can touch an object and they can immediately die? Because she just barely glanced it with like a cell of her, like a hair on her body. She's like put in a coma essentially.
It's, I don't know. I don't think we've necessarily seen the same type of magic before.
Yeah.
It's kind of like I don't know, because like the magic is waiting for you to come to it almost.
Mm-hmm.
Like the magic is just there.
Yeah,
That
that's a
you
great
have to-
point.
So it's kind of like I'm thinking of the mirror, how like the mirror is like ready with whatever like you need to see,
Yeah,
but like it's like you need to come to the mirror to see it.
yeah,
And then also like the Sorcerer's Stone is like powerful, but it's not really like you touch it and like something happens.
yeah. That's actually a really interesting point.
But that has like object magic permanence.
It's almost yeah. That's actually a great point. It's like these things must have been the result of like either years and years of someone doing continual magic to it. It's like there's like a potency of magic to this. I mean, other than the Avada Kedavra curse, which is like instant death, but you can like, dodge the Avada Kedavra curse or block it or do something or like, be protected with love. For something like this, if you just like brush against it, you're dead. So it's like,
Yeah.
did a person just sit there and like, every day for 100 days just say Avada Kedavra to this necklace until it was like so potent that if you brushed against it, you're going to die?
Or did the person have it on and then they got Avada Kedavra and it like absorbed
fascinating.
it? What if like Lily had it on and it has
Whoa.
like Voldemort's
Cool
curse?
theory. That's a cool theory.
Or you do so much dark magic with it on that it just like absorbs your state of darkness. Because like the Hope Diamond is cursed. Have you heard about that?
No.
Do you know what the Hope Diamond is?
No.
It's like the biggest diamond. I don't know if it's ever, but it's like this big blue diamond. I think it's in the Smithsonian right now.
Huh.
So I feel like I've definitely seen it, but like everybody who touches it is like cursed. Like the mailmen die.
Really?
The people who wear it, yeah, like weird stuff happens. So I can't not think about the Hope Diamond when
Yeah, for real.
I hear that. But yeah, I'm like maybe somebody just tried to kill the person that was wearing it, and then it just like hit the necklace.
I kind of like that. I like the lore of trying to figure out where these things were created or how they ended up becoming into being.
Yeah, because it could also have been created with that purpose of
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this to somebody and they're gonna die.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Or they didn't really die. It was like Crucio.
Yeah, but that's only because Katie barely touched it. So it's like I don't know, maybe it like ramps up for the amount of skin that touches this necklace. I feel like if you grabbed it, you'd immediately die. And maybe it is like a
Because
Crucio.
you know that the intent was to give it to like somebody who they wanted to die.
No, because I think that's what you see with Katie, and that's what they say later on in the chapter. They're like, it was just she barely touched it, and that's why Hagrid's like only touch it with the wrappings.
I do not feel like a scarf around the necklace.
Yeah,
was
me neither.
sufficient.
Yeah. 100%. I'm completely there with you.
Scary.
I feel like Hermione should have like wrapped it up like 20 times.
Yeah.
They should just like have.
And you can literally
Levioed
just
it.
carry stuff
Yeah.
like with your wand.
They should 100% do that. Imagine they were just carrying it up, and all of a sudden, out of the snow comes someone and it just like goes right over the person's head.
Ugh.
Maybe it is Crucio, but it's like an extreme form of Crucio where it's so bad that it kills you. And maybe like the harder you touch it, the more potent that is. So like if you touch it, you're Crucioed for like 2 seconds, but that's enough to kill you. With what Katie Bell went through, it's pretty scary. Honestly, in the movies, it portrays it pretty well. It's pretty terrifying in the movies.
She's on the Quidditch team.
Yeah,
What was she? The keeper?
she's a seeker.
The
Oh, no,
seeker?
she's a chaser. And she's an exceptional
Yeah,
chaser.
because she was on it.
Yeah, she's a
Before.
year 7. She should be the captain, in my opinion.
Oh well.
I don't think Gary should be the captain at the moment. But what's the most amount of pain that you've ever been in?
Definitely my I don't know, I've broken bones. I've sprained things.
Yeah.
I think my concussion
Oh yeah.
was really painful for a really long time. Yeah, I mean, I've had like not momentary pain. I don't want to say what it was, but I ended up going to the hospital because I thought something bad was really happening. But
Oof.
it was fine. It was just like worked through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, my concussion was so bad. I just like I don't remember like anything of that still, but it was like I just remember being in bed and just like I can't move a muscle.
Yeah.
And like when I tried to get up, it's like the worst head rush ever. Like my brain was literally gonna explode. And it was like that for weeks.
Oh,
and I just sat in my room. Literally, I hung blankets on top of my curtains because like any little fragment of light would just be like knife to the eyeball.
Gee, that's
brutal. It was
brutal.
the worst. Yeah, that was bad. But yeah, I mean, whatever.
You're through it. You're
I'm
good.
alive.
Praise
alive
be.
to
Glad you're
22.
alive. Glad you
Yeah.
got through that. Oh gosh, concussions suck.
Yeah.
And then I guess the final question in this chapter. Who gave Katie the necklace, and where was Katie delivering it? I mean, we talked about who gave it to her. Where was she delivering it?
I don't know. I feel like it's not Malfoy's mission because I think he has to do it himself. That's why Narcissa was so scared about getting Snape to help him. But I kind of feel like I don't know. I'm suspicious of Slughorn right now. And I feel like maybe he is trying to like do something weird to somebody. But I'm assuming it went to Harry Potter because like Katie Bell is pretty close to him. Like they've interacted multiple times.
And the Quidditch scenes together for sure.
Or maybe it's gonna go to like Ron or Hermione, and then Harry loses his support system, and then he's like the lone soldier. And maybe Malfoy is trying to plan this all that he can kill Harry now. But I don't know.
Interesting.
I think it's going to one of the trio for sure.
Okay. Well, we'll find out next time on Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. I'm not going to obviously say anything. But...
Can we talk about the nonverbal curses too?
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah. Because I'm wondering, because that's like Snape.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
But imagine creating a nonverbal curse or whatever incantation, and then like you have so much power that nobody else has, because no one will ever know like what you did to get that spell done.
Oh, hold on. You're saying that Sectum Sempra, the one that he used, and you're saying that Snape is the Half-Blood Prince?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying that Snape is their teacher and is teaching them nonverbal spells. I don't know if we're at that point. I think it's like the next 2 chapters or something like that in the book.
Yeah, because
in their defense of magic art, defense against the dark arts, they learn nonverbal spells.
Yeah, but there's a incantation in the book that he makes Ron go up by his ankle.
Oh, Levi Corpus, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like what happened at the Quidditch World Cup.
Yeah.
But nonverbal, that one isn't like approved by the Ministry apparently.
Yeah.
So either like this is my theory. Snape is the Half-Blood Prince. He wrote that incantation as a student at Hogwarts, and that was his textbook. And it has like to do with his worst memory because it got used against him.
Ooh,
when he meant to like use it against somebody else, like one of the Marauders.
Interesting.
So then it's his worst memory because it was like something that he was so proud of inventing, and then it was just like the utmost mortification for him to have it done against him. And like, how do the Death Eaters know what it is? Because Snape was a Death Eater and like he taught them all of it.
Okay.
I just feel like that's a crazy power to have, is like unspoken.
Yeah, you definitely have to master it well. It's definitely like an intense thing to have, but it's a scary thing.
Yeah. And you don't ever have to share your information. You can just be powerful. How do you invent something like that? Like, you just put letters together and like say it meaningfully.
It's
and
a great question. How you invent magic like
Latin
that.
roots.
Yeah, you just go. Yeah, you just start saying Latin words, and all of a sudden one sticks, and it, like, you know, does something terrible to another person.
Corpus.
Yeah.
Boom.
It is a bit interesting how those things work. I don't know. I'll have to look that up.
Anyway, thanks for joining us on our journey with Harry Potter and the Second Time Reader.
Bye.
Peace.